I wear monovision contacts now. That means that with my contacts in, I am nearsighted in this eye and farsighted in this. With this eye, I can see my notes right here in front of me. And with this eye, I can see what you guys are doing in the back pew. Nodding off, texting. With one eye, I can see what's right in front of me, and with the other eye, I can see off into the distance. And you know what? It works. The brain adjusts, and it is a wonderful gift to my sight. This story of the healing of the sight of a beggar named Bartimaeus is the story of a God who helps us to see. Who helps us to see what God sees when God looks at a human person. God has monovision. God sees up close, and God sees down the road. God loves us just as we are, just now, and God loves us into our own future, always telling us the truth that will set us free, always challenging us, always alluring us into the next step of freedom, to become everything we were meant to be, realizing our potential. The divine brain works that way. So can ours. Most of us err in life with one eye or the other. Sometimes we only see what is up close, and we cannot see what this other person in front of us is becoming. Too much of what passes for love is really only about tolerance and what they call relativism and the worst of PC. We let it be okay for this other person to not bring up our concerns, the concerns we're beginning to have about their choices and their habits they're building in life and the attitudes they carry that really could bring them down, or at least get in the way of the one thing that's going to make them full of joy, and that's the ability to give and receive love. We look at a person and see them as they are and accept them, and we can get really good at that. Not judging maybe, not evaluating, and very tolerant. Maybe too tolerant. So that we never really call each other to anything much, much less greatness. Maybe it's fear that keeps us, that makes us rather so tolerant with each other, maybe too tolerant. Fear of being seen as intrusive if we challenge somebody on what's really none of our business. Fear of risking their anger, peace at any price, you know. Or maybe we don't even care enough about who they're becoming to say something in its time. Whatever the reason, the truth is we're really hurting the person to only love them as they are and not call them to greatness, to be better and happier and healthier and freer than they are today. We accept them as they are, but do nothing to help them to be happy when they're 50. The test of sight in this eye is acceptance. And it's loving this other human being even in their failure. But not letting this eye dominate over this one. On the other hand, sometimes we only see what's down the road, who this person is becoming. Too much of what passes for love is just challenging and criticizing and nagging. And so we miss the beauty of the person we care about because we're mostly looking mostly looking out there at what they can become still. It's not really not love, all this acceptance and affirmation. But in the end, if we're only nagging and pulling them into the future, what ends up happening is they miss the transforming power of unconditional love, an experience of that at least. And they feel like they have to keep jumping through hoops for us to find our love for them. With this eye, we only see them at 50, and we miss the goodness of how good it is that they are 20 right now. And that's so good. Sometimes our parents can be really good at this sight, especially good at this dominant eye, looking only to the future and pressuring us with all kinds of expectations. And so they believe we can be the superstar. And because they believe we can be the superstar, they push us too much and berate us over that less than spectacular soccer game we just played. The test of this eye, for sure, is seeing clearly the hopes and the dreams we have for someone, what they can become in the image and likeness of Christ, but never letting that eye dominate over the other. This I know. A love that only affirms and accepts is not love. And a love that only harasses and challenges and even shames, no matter how good our intention, is not love either. True love holds the tension. Some parents get there. Their brain adjusts. Some friends, too. Even spouses. True love sees both clearly and lets both eyes dominate in their time. Have you ever been loved that way? I hope to God you've been loved that way. This image of monovision love is the criterion of all of our meager attempts at love. The staff here at the Catholic Student Center tries really hard to hold both of those together in our desire to love you. As Bill Danforth said when he stood here not long ago, I am confident that any student who comes to the CSC will find love and support and the challenge to be their best selves. I hope to God that's true. I think I can say with confidence to all of you that if you dare to step outside of the shadows and let us get to know you, you will be loved as you are and never ever shamed. And you will find yourself challenged to be your own best self. We will love you in your weakness and in your sin, and we will call you to holiness. But that's not just the work of the staff at the CSC. Monovision love must characterize all of our loves, you see. Whatever groups you're part of on campus, your co-workers, your family, your friends. Do you see your friends with both eyes? Which eye dominates when you look at that person you're dating? Which eye dominates when you look at your spouse? Which eye dominates when you look at your brothers or sisters in the fraternity or sorority? Which eye dominates when you look at your colleagues in research or the people you work with day in and day out? Which eye dominates when you talk to your sister or your brother on the phone? I want to see, Lord. Like the blind beggar, I want to see. I want to see you. I want to see you up close in your own foolish humanity, utterly mortal, and love every inch of you. Love every inch of the imperfect being you are. And I want to see you as you could be when you turn 50. And fall in love with what you are at your best, your very own best, what you are becoming, the possibilities that are you. I want to be part of what God is dreaming you into right now. One eye, totally focused on that as yet unrealized you. No less real, no less urgent. This is the seeing that marks true love. It is how God sees us. Two eyes, one love.